A week ago, we met after a triumphant second half Eagles comeback that followed a first half of misery and woe. Today, we meet after a win that felt much less triumphant following a second half of misery and woe.
What a confusing couple of weeks here, Jake. The only thing that can brighten our spirits after a second half performance would be some postseason baseball. And lucky for us, Red October has arrived.
We'll try our hand at MLB fortune telling, AJ Brown's therapist, and everything in between for the love of Broad Street. Broad Street, welcome back to the show. I'm Jake. That's Marshall. We have a lot to get to tonight. Not only did the Phillies clinch a first-round bye, but we've got a couple of award winners on the roster now, Marshall.
Yeah, we'll get that in a bit. But first, we've got to break down another tale of two halves by the Birds. Last week, 0 to hero. This week, it's 0 to 0.
We were firing on all cylinders in that first half, and the engine must have backfired at halftime. So can you please tell me, Marshall, in your incredibly knowledgeable opinion, what in the name of all that is holy happened in Tampa Bay?
I think we honestly just got so tired. Like, you go back to week 4 last year, it's a very similar story. It's a tale of two halves in that game as well, but it felt like the beginning of that game, they didn't know what was going on. They weren't acclimated to the heat. They couldn't prepare or hadn't prepared themselves for it. And then the second half of that game, they turn it on a little bit. It's a little too late because they don't have AJ Brown. They don't have Devontae Smith in that game. This was like a completely opposite tale. They made that decision, Jake, to go in a day early. They knew that they had lost consistently in Tampa Bay. We've got to change it up somehow. They got off to maybe the hottest start you've seen this Eagles team go since at least last season, with a blocked punt. A blocked punt return to a touchdown just bounces right into Sidney Brown's hands. He was watching the replay of it. He's like, I don't know how I got.
How'd you get that lucky? Right.
Yeah, just boom, right into his hands. And he's all alone right down the sideline in for 7. And from there, it's like the Eagles are in complete control. You get up, what was it, 26 to so
at halftime it was 24-6. That was halftime.
That's right. 24-6 at halftime. And past that, it's like our defense just could not find an answer for Baker Mayfield. On the ground, he was killing them. Through the air, those 2 back-breaking touchdowns. One 77-yarder, I believe, to Bucky Irving, the other to Abuka. Really, really long touchdowns. It just looked like our guys at that point had kind of lost the will. And it's a different way to win, Jake, playing from ahead as opposed to being in these really, really tight contests, especially when it's so stinking hot out there. 103 degrees at one point was the feels like temperature on the field. They probably were like, well, we can just coast to the finish. That's not how it works in the NFL, Jake.
No. And I will say, like, football's not meant to be played in 103 degrees. You know what I mean? It's a cold weather sport. I think football, I think the Snow Bowl. I think of the frozen tundra of Chicago or Green Bay. I'm not
thinking Ice Bowl.
I'm not thinking 103 in Tampa in September. So I want to give them a little bit of a pass, but on the flip side, it was hot for Tampa too. So surely they must have been wearing down towards the second half, but we just looked. Forget the tailing off, because it was almost an unfair start for Tampa. Blocked punt for a return touchdown. We had a turnover that got us in a short field.
Mm-hmm.
So if you take all that away, maybe this start isn't so hot.
No.
Forgive the pun. But because when you boil it down, it was another embarrassing offensive performance. 200 total yards, 112 through the air. Marshall, I cover high school football. there have been several high school football games this season where they've had more than 112 passing yards.
Yeah,
this is the NFL. So.
Right.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And even when they were getting the passing yards, Jake, the ones that you think of in this game are the little underneath kind of shovel passes to Goddard. There was one at least earlier in the game, first quarter maybe, to Devontae Smith. It was, I don't know, 15 yards in the air, something like that. But beyond that, it was like you couldn't do anything down the field. Now, okay, let me point this out though. Patullo, whoever's making the play calls here, could still be Nick. I don't know. But Patullo, that offense, they're taking their shots, right? You see it in this game, especially in the beginning. They made a concerted effort. Let's get A.J. Brown involved, or at least attempt to get A.J. Brown involved. 8 targets, I believe.
9
targets, I believe, to him.
9.
And no real success at all. I mean, now part of that is, and again, we go back to this line being an issue, but when there's no Johnson on the right tackle, the drop-off is still so significant. I don't think that Fred Johnson played as well in this game as you would have liked, but you also had Steen go out for a little bit there, and Pryor had to come in. So, again, the protection was kind of lax, but at the same time, you've got Saquon on the field, you've got Devontae in the field, you've got AJ in the field. It just feels like instead of slants this time, it was the 8-yard hitch route instead of the slants. It was like there's no creativity, diversity on the offensive play calling side of things where we can adjust on the go. It's like they take the one thing away. Okay, that's all we planned on doing. We're not gonna it's like they solved this in this one, where it was last week. The first half we couldn't figure it out at all. Second half, okay, well let's decide to throw the ball. So what is this team's identity now? Because it's really tough. You are not going to get an interception in the end zone, a punt block return for a touchdown, and let's go back to last week even.
Blocked field goal.
2 blocked field goals.
2.
A blocked field goal that's returned for a touchdown. Like, this margin of victory, aside from those massive plays on defense and special teams, we're not winning this game. The offense did not look good in this game again. And man, I'm starting to worry a little bit, honestly, Jake, about Saquon. I know a 2,000-yard season is it's impossible to replicate, right? A 2,000-yard season, especially right after doing it. I think the only person that can really say you'd have a prayer in getting that done is a Derrick Henry, right? Like, he's the only one who's really made that sort of an effort. But even in his seasons where he's gone for, that close to 2,000-yard mark, he's not doing it again.
This season he looks a little bit just hindered.
He's pedestrian comparatively, but maybe the defenses have kind of gone the pendulum swing back. Hey, we're going to defend the run. But I don't know. He's not getting on track. There are a couple here in this game that I felt like he was close to getting loose and breaking it for a long one, but it just felt like there's that little bit of maybe a loss of a step or something. I mean, you can't understate the amount of physical toll that had to have taken on him going for 2,000 last year.
And you wonder how big of a deal Mekhi Becton was. Because, Steen is doing, for all intents and purposes, a pretty decent job. But, he's kind of the only thing that's changed, right? The rest of the line's unchanged.
Yeah.
I guess you could say Kellen Moore might have been doing something different in the run scheming. But that's, that's it. That's the only difference. So short of a lost step or anything like that, it's got to be down to play calling or Mekhi Becton.
I know.
And it's wild. I want to get to you. You mentioned AJ Brown. If you haven't seen, ladies and gentlemen, he's once again being like a cryptic diva on Twitter. He had some message like, "Oh, just see yourself out. If you're not appreciator, cry, 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 boo-hoo, boo-hoo." I kind of got it after the first week when we weren't even throwing him the ball.
Right.
We threw it to him 9 times and he's not open. So if you want better numbers, get open. I don't know what he's looking for here. 9 targets. 9. He led the team by more than double of the next guy.
That's a respectable amount. That's respectable for sure.
And when you have 2 catches for 7 yards on 9 targets, he had fewer yards than targets.
Yeah. Let me say this, Jake. I get his frustration. I think the whole offense is frustrated. I think Devontae Smith, he's not one to voice it, but I'm sure he's frustrated too. And I'm sure Jalen Hurts is a little frustrated with this. He's not gonna voice it, right? He's not that kind of guy to go in the media and voice it. And that's the difference between him and AJ Brown. But I get it. Like, AJ Brown is paid to come in here and make big plays. He doesn't feel like he's getting that opportunity in the previous weeks. This might be a bubbling over moment for him, right? He's gotten and okay, a couple of those throws, AJ Brown has a chance down the field, and Jalen is again under pressure, not wanting to force the ball into a tough situation or tough spot, and ends up throwing it out of bounds. You know, there are times on these routes where he's getting some daylight, but it's just not setting up in the backfield for Jalen to be able to stand and deliver the ball. So the whole offense has to work in unison here. It's not just Jalen's not performing, AJ's not performing. It's everybody on this offense that has to look themselves in the mirror and say, we're not going to get anywhere as a team this year if we don't get some consistency going, right? That's the reality.
I miss the AJ Brown that would sit on the bench and read the self-help book. You remember that? That was my favorite.
That wasn't long ago even.
He wasn't chirping in the media. He was just reading his self-help. We were winning ball games. It was great. Hey, you know, we should just take a step back. We're 4-0.
I know.
We're still we're playing like garbage, and
tough to complain.
4-0.
And the Cowboys and Packers tied on Sunday night. So we have to remember that could be us too, right? Like that scenario. I mean, you don't want to get in a tie situation ever in this league because it just screws up the rest of the season. But you're right, 4-0. We're being nitpicky right now.
Right. We
are looking at but I think part of it, Jake, is just 2 years ago now, we were in a position where we go 10-0. We're feeling like we're in the driver's seat. We are a lock for the first seed, it seems. We are going to the Super Bowl, it seems. And then, like, that was so predictable because every game we were winning by the skin of our teeth. We were taking bad teams down to the wire, and we weren't winning in a convincing fashion. It caught up with us. I would say the games we have played so far, none of these victories, Jake, and correct me if I'm wrong, have come in a convincing fashion.
No, but I will say the difference that I want to be positive just for a minute, and then I'll go back into being negative.
Oh, no way.
The one difference is that you were right, that we were beating bad teams. This year we're beating good teams. That's true. The Bucs were 3-0.
Yeah.
We beat Kansas City, who's not the Kansas City of old, but it's still Kansas City. Like we're beating
and the Rams.
Good team. Right. The Rams, who when we played them last week, were 9-3 over their last 12 games. And those 3 losses were us, and us. So, I mean, like that's the difference. I'm wondering if we go get, not an incredible team. We play someone like the Giants or something. Maybe we stop them, and we just haven't seen that yet this season.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hoping and praying for. But, so I'm going to recede back into my negative Philly fan.
Okay, good. I like this better.
What were we doing on third down, Marshall? 5 for 14.
I know.
5 for 14.
Incredibly embarrassing. And those play calls were suspect, a lot of them. Again, there were some give ups with some runs and some long ones, like, a 3rd and 16. Given the situation, I get it. But like, you had sustained drives earlier in this game. And it's weird. Again, last week, golden on third down, Jake.
Yeah.
Everything's coming up roses on third down. Incredible. This week, can't get it together. Cannot do a single thing on third down. No big plays. We're going now to the outside. We think this is the formula now. The offense thinks this is the formula. Oh, okay, 3rd and 10, we're going to go to A.J. Brown on the outside. Not there. Batted down. Don't have it. Like, you have to have that ability to go back. Like, you can't continue to do the same thing forever, Jake. These defenses, Vic Fangio is proof of this, will adjust on the fly. You have to be able to evolve as you go as well. The absence of the running game, Jake, it keeps teams in the mode where they know 3rd and 8 or more, you're not gonna catch them on a 3rd and 8 with a handoff, right? You're not gonna catch them on a 3rd and 8 with a handoff. They know it's a passing situation. They're pinning their ears back. They're rushing on the side that Mailata is not. They're rushing to that gap that is left when Johnson is not on the field, and it's mayhem. It's mayhem out there. It's very frustrating to watch, I will say. But again, we are getting out of these games. And even if, like last week, we were on this podcast, Jake, I'll remind you, you did pick the Bucs to win.
Sure did.
That didn't happen. So we have to take the positives and the negatives in totality here and just say, you know what? Moving on. Maybe this team continues to get better. Some worrying signs nonetheless, especially on that offensive line. I think that's maybe the biggest worrying sign.
Yeah, and let's talk about this game was not without worries on the defensive side of the ball.
Right.
Something we're not used to seeing as Eagles fans is 2 major busted coverages.
Absolutely.
Major. One was a 72-yarder to Bucky. One was a 77-yarder to Ibuka. I mean, again, I feel entitled saying this, but the Eagles don't let that happen.
No.
What the heck was going on?
So I think personally, this was the Andrew Makuba come down to earth game, right?
Welcome
to the NFL.
Mistake.
Yes, welcome to the NFL game. Because on those plays, the first one to Ibuka, you could argue that Reed Blankenship maybe should have been in a little bit better position, but he's not supposed to be on that side of the field.
No, that's the weak side safety. Yeah,
that's weak side safety. And Makuba is looking down. He's got his eyes down the field instead of going and covering the deep ball. He lets Ibuka slip. And I'll be real, that was within a couple inches of being broken up. So it's very, very close play, but every play in the NFL is a close play. That can't happen, right? That was not a good enough throw. That was not a good enough route. The coverage could have been there. I give credit to Blankenship for trying to be there. And then on the, again, similar situation, I think, on the throw down the sideline to Bucky Irving. And I'll get to another point here right after this. But you can't, as athletic and as fast as he is, a running back covered by Jihad Campbell on a go route is a little bit different than a running back covered in the flat by Jihad Campball. Your breakaway speed is in favor of the running back in that play.
I'm going to defend Vic Fangio here in that that was him covering him in the flat. That's what that was supposed to be.
Exactly.
But because we can't get the problem for me is we can't get Baker on the ground. That's the issue. He's running around.
Yep.
Yeah, he's running around like a chicken with his head cut off. And then Bucky's like, oh, wait, I'm Bucky Irving. Like, I'm a top 10 running back in this league.
Yep.
And I'm facing this rookie linebacker.
Yep.
I'm just going to run. Yeah.
Yep.
And listen, fairness to Campbell, he was all over him. It was just a perfect throw by Baker.
It was a great throw, and once he makes that catch, there's no catching him. You're not gonna,
You're not gonna, and especially with a linebacker. But the point being, I think the problem came up front in that we were putting pressure on him, but we weren't finishing him, and that's something we saw last year. Was if this was last season, he'd be on the ground. And listen, Nolan spits out. That's a huge factor in that, in my opinion. But listen, guys are going to get hurt, especially a guy that's injury prone like Nolan. So we just got to figure it out.
Well, we gotta remember, Jake, who we lost in the offseason. We talked about it in our first episode. Josh Sweat is a hard guy to replace. You're not going to replace Brandon Graham ever, right? Just from a leadership standpoint in that room, you're not going to replace him. And a big number guy now in Milton Williams. The only play, I believe, the only sack we had in this game was a late fourth quarter or mid fourth quarter sack by Ajomo.
Ajomo had one and Bond had one, I think, early on.
Bond did have one. Again, you have to get home. If the quarterback is going to be able to stand back there and I will say it. Mayfield is one of the more elusive quarterbacks in this league. We know that.
Yeah.
But if a quarterback's going to be able to stand back there and free and clear have 6 seconds to throw the ball, you're going to lose. You're
Yep.
going to lose. That I was counting him. You just kind of have once you watch football enough, once you've maybe played football enough, you kind of have a mental clock in your head like, oh, this ball better come out or he should be
Right.
on the ground, right? It felt like too many times in this game, it was like, get him, get
Like,
him,
come on, hurry.
get him. I
Yeah.
mean, you've got the time now to get to him. Again, I think this team is still searching for some replacements to those superstars that we just lost. And Jalix Hunt to this point, I mean, maybe the expectations were a little bit high for him because he was playing with such good players, right? You just
Right.
start to you think, oh, he's the guy making the play because he's a really good player. Well, it might be the guys around him are really good, and he's benefiting from the guys around him being really good, right?
Right.
I'm not saying that he couldn't be really good. I'm just saying we put a lot of faith in a guy who's in his second year, showed some flashes in the playoffs, but has not been able to sustain that success. And I think that's just the overall theme for this defense is sustaining that
Right.
success. Again, to their credit, though, big turnovers, big spots, Jake. I mean,
Yeah.
massive, massive turnovers to be
And
had.
especially I'm thinking about that Baker Mayfield interception. I was looking at that pass thinking Baker just made this catastrophic error, but what actually happened was a huge tip at the line
Yep.
that allowed us to pick that ball off. And listen, we've been saying this all season. We've been winning these close games because the defense is, even if they're not turning it over, which we're getting a bunch of, they're just stopping drives at really crucial times. And that's what
Yep.
happened. Listen, we had one touchdown in the second half, and it was because of a turnover that gave us a short field.
Yep.
Other than that, we had 0 points.
Yep.
So essentially, the defense was the only thing that was stopping Tampa Bay in the second half because the offense wasn't doing anything.
Absolutely. You've got the fumble on the Bucky Brooks, which I actually thought watching that live and then watching the replay, I was like, is he down? Like it was very close. I
Yeah,
was thinking
right.
that they were going to overturn it, to be honest with you, but you get that fumble, and the Eagles go and score on that one, with the fake tush push, which I did like that
Oh,
wrinkle,
that
the
was
end
so
around,
cool. Yeah.
just untouched. Here goes Saquon to the end zone. Had to feel good for him because he's been so
They're shut
it's
down.
got down
Yeah.
for the most part in the last couple of weeks here. But yeah, you get that, and then the touchdown saving interception. I mean, if
Oof.
in that situation that's completed in the end zone, or even they get a field goal, you're thinking, man, I think the Birds are going
We
to go
might lose
down.
this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, defense stood pat when it needed to, made some big plays when it needed to, but you're not going to get a punt block on the first play of the game again,
Yeah.
right? You're
Or
not
two
going to get
field goal blocks.
or two field goal blocks. It's just we're winning with anomalies. You can't win with anomalies all the time. Again,
Yeah.
good players make good plays. We have plenty of players that can make those plays. But I will say, Jake, that the red zone offense to this point, again, once you get there, the Eagles don't have a problem converting once you get in the red zone. They have the problem getting to the red zone. And
Right.
so there is something to be said that this is a workable issue, right? If you're not
Right.
scoring, if they don't convert those 3 touchdowns, right? If they just convert field goals like the Rams did, you definitely lose this game, right? That's a
Right.
positive to take away for sure that the Eagles were able to come away. And I liked the play calling. I will say, in getting the ball to Goddard, you get it out of your quarterback's hands quickly. It's a little bit different than what the Eagles have done to this point in the season. And really going back to last season, they didn't do this at all. I like getting Goddard involved. I think he's an important part of this team. He goes overlooked. I think he's overlooked a lot
Yeah.
on this team. But even going back to last week, he has the touchdown down the seam, a 30-yarder or so in that game. I like him being involved, getting action. He was big in the Super Bowls that we played in the last couple of years. So that's important. But the red zone, that's one place I think you can kind of hang your hat and say, we're doing something right, Jake.
Right. And the frustrating thing is how are we getting that so right? How are we being so creative and innovative down there where it's the hardest to be creative and innovative? And we can't do it on our own 35. I don't understand why, like, it seems like Patullo's like, we're only going to be good once we're almost there, right? But until we almost get there, we're going to be really mediocre. Like, you think about a quarterback telegraphing a pass. Like, I feel like Patullo's telegraphing like the playbook. Like, I just feel like the defense is just sit there and be like, I bet you this goes, right in the A gap, and we're gonna load 8 guys in the box. Boom. I bet you this is a failed slant route to AJ Brown. Boom, done. That's how it feels. And then all of a sudden, we're in the red zone, and dare I say, Patullo looks a little Andy Reid esque.
Yeah, yeah. He goes in the bag of tricks.
Right. So hey, Kevin, just do it all over the field.
Right.
It'll be fun.
Yeah,
it could be fun. The Eagles fans will laugh. We'll score a bunch of points. It'll be great. Just stop waiting.
It's gonna be awesome, buddy.
Right. Come on. Turn the page in the playbook. I said this last week. It's like he's only looking at like one little block of like 5 plays, and he just runs them over and over and over and over again. And then he's like, wait, I have more plays. Oh, no. Let's try this. Touchdown. Or, wrinkle with the tush push that no one saw coming. And he looks like a genius. So just use those more. It'll be great.
So here's the thing, Jake, and I know that this has been preached, especially by Sirianni since he got here. You got to win the turnover battle. The one thing that they are doing every week, Jake, is winning the turnover battle. And that in the NFL leads you to victory. They know that. So in those moments where they are being a little more conservative and Jalen Hurts is being smart with the football, I mean, they're not turning it over. Right? They're not unforced errors. They're not like, they are just keeping a hold of that ball. They realize that they're good enough. I think on offense, they think at least they're good enough to sustain things and get those long drives that lead to points and lead to, you know what, we're going to get the ball with 6 minutes left in this game. You're never going to see it again. That's what they want. That was their formula last year. Whether they're able to sustain that this year, whether they're able to repeat that this year is a big question for this team moving forward. But I will say, Jalen has been smart. Jalen has been very smart with the football.
Yeah.
We have not seen, I don't think we've seen outside of that pretty blatant missed block by Matt Pryor last week against the Rams. I don't think we've seen an offensive turnover.
No, and again, I blame that one on the coaching staff for putting Pryor out there.
Exactly. I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that. If that's the philosophy, that part is working. You would like to see, though, an opportunity for some of these bigger plays. Hey, maybe the Broncos are the right team to do that against, Jake. Broncos coming into this one in Philadelphia. What are your early thoughts on this matchup?
Listen, if we didn't like playing the Bucs defense, buckle up, because you're about to get, in my opinion, one of the top 3 units in the NFL. They are terrifying on defense. They are suffocating. And this is just not the matchup you want when you have a second half like last week, like when you're struggling to move the ball. Right. And now you're just looking at these behemoths of a defensive unit coming in. I'm a little concerned, but I've learned my lesson. You don't bet against the birds. So I am going to guess that this is an Eagles win.
Okay.
In just an awful 14-9 game at home. It's going to be, we're all going to hate it, but we're going to win.
I don't want to watch that. Please.
You're gonna, and I'm gonna, and we're all gonna hate it, and we're gonna be 5-0. That's the prediction.
So this is a 1-2 Broncos team coming in to this game. Their only win coming against the somewhat lowly Titans. But I will say there are good players on this team. They have played tough teams, pretty tough. They lose by a point to the Colts, who have actually been kind of surprising to this point in the season.
Isn't it funny how whenever people leave New York, they just all of a sudden, wait, Daniel Jones is good?
Right. I can't believe this. Yeah, wait a minute. It's just a horrible sports town. Hot take there. Anyway, then they lose to the Chargers by 3. They're playing the Bengals. tonight at as we're
Right.
recording this. But so that'll be something to watch. Obviously, the Bengals not having Joe Burrow, not as much of a test as it otherwise would be for this team. But the defense can keep you in games, right? The defense can keep you in games. I again think that it's hard to go into the link and win. I don't expect this Broncos team to have enough firepower on offense to do it. Especially, with the Eagles seemingly inevitable at this point. They just keep moving.
Mhm.
I would say this is going to be another ugly one, though. I kind of agree with you. I've been sticking with these 24s. I'm gonna bump it up a little bit. I'm gonna go 28-17 Eagles in this game.
I hope for all of our sakes that your prediction's closer than mine. I just have this awful feeling I'm going to be right. But let's lower the blood pressure a bit. Let's take a break from the birds. Let's switch to something happy. Our conquering heroes at Citizens Bank Park. The Phils wrapped up the regular season at 96-66, enough to secure the number 2 seed in the National League. More importantly, that first round bye.
We needed that first round bye big time, Jake. The Phils will face the winner of the Reds-Dodgers wild card series in the NLDS, and we'll get to that in a minute. But first, we have to congratulate our award winners, Jake. All of the award winners.
This is so satisfying. It's so satisfying because we're just so used to being overlooked in Philly with these awards. But these are the ones that you can't take away from us because they're not voted on. It's just the stats.
Yeah.
And Kyle Schwarber wins NL Home Run King.
Love
56 home runs. 56.
What a season.
RBIs led the league. 132. I mean, that is astonishing. And I really, I said this when Ryan Howard did it, and obviously he didn't match the home run totals of 58,
right.
but you just get this sense that like you're never going to see that again. I mean, that was he was on a tear pretty much since May. Like just that entire time was just murdering baseballs. And so I don't know if everyone out there remembers, Marshall embarrassed me with a question, and he stumped me really badly. So I'm getting you back.
Oh, let's go. Okay.
Kyle Schwarber.
Yes.
Is one of 4 players in MLB history to have the following: 55 home runs, 100 walks, 10 stolen bases in a season. Okay. That's 55 homers, 100 walks, 100 walks, and 10 stolen bases. Name me the other 3.
Okay. That's tough. I'm going to go. Has Shohei done this?
No. That's would have been my guess. In fairness, that would have been the first thing I said.
Because Shohei hasn't hit 55, right? He hasn't hit 55.
Yeah, exactly. It's the home runs and maybe the walk. He's definitely hit the stolen bases, but I don't know about the walks. But yeah, he is not one of them.
Okay. Can I go Sammy Sosa?
No, that's a great guess because I guessed that too, and I was wrong.
Man, okay. This is tough.
I'm going to give you one hit.
Old players.
Yeah, so one guy's still playing, 2 guys are not. One is, I'd call him like a modern era player that's retired, and the one is a old timer.
Modern era player. Okay. Man, this is tough. Who's gotten 55 as of late here? Freddie Freeman's not touching 55.
Nope.
Man, I'm trying to think of who has really been bashing in recent times and has the speed to do it. Oh man. Let me go Ted Williams.
Nope. You're on the right on the right track in terms of like the era though.
Okay. Gehrig?
No. Same you're on the right team now.
So was it Babe?
Yes.
Okay.
Babe is one of them. That fatty got 10 stolen bases at some point.
Okay, so then I guess I would just have to say Hank Aaron then.
No, he is not.
Wow, because he didn't steal bases.
Exactly. This is the tough part.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give up on this one, Jake. I'm
All right.
I'm gonna run out of time here.
So Schwarber, Babe Ruth, Aaron Judge,
Aaron Judge, of
He was
course.
the one I was still playing.
Yeah.
Barry Bonds.
Barry Bonds. You know what? I
Yep.
think I just overlooked Barry Bonds because of the whole Roids thing, but
Yep.
I
Yeah.
should.
Everyone forgets him, but he
Yeah.
like if you just look, if you're talking any discussion about stats, he's probably the best.
Yeah.
Like if you're just looking on paper, like I honestly am not a big fan of him because of the whole Roids thing. But if you're just talking about like objectively on paper, the
Yeah, he's
dude's
the best.
incredible.
Yeah.
He's incredible.
Can't beat him.
But enough with my trivia question. I just sorry, I had to get
Well, thanks.
back
That
at
was
you
fun.
because
Yes.
I was
feel
embarrassed. I was
embarrassed.
in, yeah. Welcome. At least you're sharply dressed. I looked like a bum the first episode, but this is Schwarber again. Unreal year, as you can hear with that rarefied air. Judge, Bonds, Ruth. That's pretty decent company, right?
Yeah.
The one that's making me laugh is Trey Turner wins his second career National League batting title, Marshall, with a record low for the National League 304.
That's crazy.
It's the most, isn't that the most Phillies way to win an award? You are the best in the league, but you're the worst ever of the best.
That's just crazy. And you know what? When he went out and he had the 304, I was like, somebody's gonna, right?
Right.
Somebody's gonna catch him, right? You would think somebody's got more opportunities. For him to win it and have he was out for like a month?
Yeah, right.
End of the season, more than that.
Yeah.
That's again kind of like a back into it sort of a way to win.
Yeah, it was almost benefiting him, right? Like just to not be in down the stretch and just sit at 304.
What does that say? Yeah, what does that say though about the state of pitching in this league? I mean, are the batters really doing that poorly? Are the pitchers just playing that well?
I mean, let's be honest. When let's say when Babe Ruth was playing, even when Barry Bonds was playing, you're not having multiple guys on every team that can throw 98. You know what I mean? Like that's new. That is not a fact that an obstacle that those guys had to overcome back then. So that's part of it. But the other part of it is I think just the style of hitting has completely changed. The three true outcomes, right? Like these guys swing to hit tanks or doubles at the least. Yeah. Like you don't really. Trey Turner's one of the only guys that really has kept that. Like I'm thinking like him, Luis Arraez. Like there's not a lot of guys that try to make contact anymore. Even like Johan Rojas has that like home run swing. Yeah. And you're thinking, what are you doing? You're the fastest guy on the planet. But it's how it is now. People love home runs and extra bases.
Yep. You would think a guy like a Jose Altuve, for instance, right? With his stature, he'd be swinging for singles and doubles and triples. Maybe
not anymore.
He's not. He's just hit it over the wall.
He probably came in like that. But you got that short porch in left. He's not as quick as he used to be. He's like, I'm just going to swing hard. And that's why I think you're seeing the averages dip, right? Because it's
probably.
And the two strike approach also. This is I'm getting baseball nerd on you, but the two strike approach has just been so frustrating. It's like, I'm not going to change literally anything I do. I'm going to swing just as hard. And if I strike out, I don't care.
Yep. That ball's going to go somewhere.
Right.
It might be into the catcher's mitt. It might be into the upper deck.
450 in the left center.
Yep. Either way, I'm going to swing as hard as I possibly can.
Yeah, right. It's going
to blow this snot right out of my nose.
Yeah, it's exciting, but it's frustrating too when it's your own team, especially with some of the strikeout numbers we saw this year. But I digress because the Phils won their last two series.
Yeah.
And we always talk about in baseball, it literally doesn't matter what your record is at the end of the season. It's how hot are you coming in?
Right.
Do you think this is going to translate winning these last two series?
Yeah, I liked winning the last two series, but it did kind of feel like a bit of a foot off the gas on the last game. It just felt like, we're just, all right, we know what the fate is. And, and I get it, right? I get it. There wasn't as much urgency maybe as I would have liked out of the squad. I dress like this today because it's time to get down to business, Jake. Right?
Yeah.
It's time to start dealing here. We need some dealing from Nola, like we saw in one of those series.
Yeah, that was a gem that he spun in that last game. It really making his case for the postseason.
Wonderful to see that. I mean, could have been a complete game. The way that he was pitching.
Yeah. I think they were just protecting his arm at that point.
And I get that. I totally get that. But I definitely like that sign from him, and I feel like the bats are still moving pretty well. You just get worried, right? A few days off, start thinking about, well, maybe nice to have a few months off, right? Maybe it'd be nice to just sit back and kick my feet up a little bit, right?
On the
Especially
beach.
a guy like Nola, like, man, he's been pushing, he's been, rehabbing to get back up to the majors, and now he's here and he's doing up and down, right? Like, and he's deep in his career too. You got to wonder, man,
Yeah.
going into October, it's not like playing football where you feel like, oh man, I'm really physically, like I can't walk, right? It's a little different,
Right.
but the wear and tear
Yeah.
is still there. They played 162 games, right?
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the good vibes are still there when they come back, and that they're still very focused on this time off. This is a good series to watch, though. The Reds and the Dodgers.
Yeah.
You think the Dodgers are going to come out on top, but who knows? Reds are still a tough squad.
And, if you just think about how we fared against these two teams on paper, you're like, oh, play the Reds every day of the week.
Right.
But we win the season series over the Dodgers. And what was that, a couple months ago? The Reds spanked us.
Absolutely destroyed. Yeah.
Spanked us.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're just talking about matchup to matchup, you're almost like, oh, maybe I'd rather play the Dodgers. And again, when you talk about like the hotness of a team, like the Reds are ripping hot right now.
They're cooking.
I
don't like seeing De La Cruz. I just don't want to see De La Cruz.
Right? Yeah.
He's just scary.
And we couldn't hit Sonny Gray. Like there's a bunch of just matchup issues with that Reds team. So all those people that are like, oh, I really hope the Reds win. I really hope the Reds win. I'm not in that camp. Like it's one of those things that never happens in sports. You want the worst team to lose.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I just hope it's like, the series goes all the way. They need to burn a lot of arms and a lot of innings. Because as we've seen, the Phillies were the perfect case study in 2023. You don't always want that bye, right? Like if you come in hot and then you mow through that wild card game and you just continue that momentum into the DS, it almost tips the scales in favor of the team that doesn't have the bye. And you just you're looking around going, oh, is this time off really going to help? Listen, I think it helps Suarez for sure. Nola will probably benefit from it. But like all those guys that were hitting, like the Baiters and all those guys, you're kind of like, oh, I kind of wish we were playing this week instead of sitting around and watching. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, no, I kind of think that could be a possibility. The Phillies have seen success when they didn't have a bye. Thinking back to, I believe, the pennant year, most recent was a no bye year. And that was that the first year of that new format where the bye wasn't really a factor, or was it second year? Very, very early.
Yeah, it was early. I don't remember when.
First time they had it. So I think looking at these different series, the Diamondbacks a couple years ago didn't have the bye, went to the World Series. I don't know. You think about like a runner, right? I run all the time. It's better to run when you're warmed up, right? It's just better, especially if you're going to sprint, right? If you're going to really push and this is going to be an all out sort of a thing, you want to be nice and warmed up. You don't want to go into it absolutely cold. So I hope, right, that they stay locked in, that they stay focused, that the practices are good, that they're not, going off, getting visions of off-season hijinks and stuff. And remembering, like, they've been here before. They've been here many times before.
In a row.
And this is obviously not their goal. I think we saw it in the clubhouse after the clinch game when they're going back to the playoffs again. It was a little somber, right? It was not quite as
it wasn't the
party
celebration
atmosphere. Yeah. It wasn't as exuberant as we'd seen in the past. I think that shows, first of all, some maturity, and it shows hunger, right? Like we've been to the top of the mountain. We've touched it almost, right? Like we saw the peak and we didn't get there. We didn't get to plant our flag at the top of Everest, Jake. Please, will you be my Sherpa and take me there?
Yeah. I'd love to. Yeah, listen, the thing that will warm my heart, no matter what happens, is that the Mets aren't in the postseason. I mean, come on. All they had to do was win the series over the Marlins. and they couldn't do it. Couldn't pull it off.
I see Pete Alonso's just like go Brewers. It's like
highest payroll in the league. They get Juan Soto, right? Like the peak off season. It doesn't matter. Get out of here. You guys aren't even in the postseason. And the thing that made me laugh so much is it was like I didn't watch the Mets game, but it was like on my news feed. No, Mets out of playoffs. Pete Alonso, elects free agency. It was like 2 minutes after. It was like he was on the phone as he was going through the handshake line saying goodbye to everybody with his agent. Just get me out of here, man. I got to get out of here.
I mean, it's a dead end. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that city. Too much pressure, I guess.
Yeah.
Judge couldn't pull it off with the Yanks. Mets have not been able to put it together. And I don't know, since Franco was pitching for him or something.
Yeah.
Way back in the day, right? Like there's no hope in New York right now. I love to see it.
Yeah, me too. And the funny part is, like, they go get that Soto signing, and the thought is, oh man, like this is gonna be their year. But now that it's not, you just think of all that money that they lost putting it into that one guy.
Right.
And you're like, how much money is left to go around for everybody else? Especially if Pete, if they want Pete back, they're really going to have to pay him this time. He's not going to take that little 1 year stopgap deal that he took this year. No way.
No.
So
you're going to pay him like a premier first baseman.
Right.
You're going to overpay him probably.
Right. And I know Cohen's like the richest owner in the league, but it's like, how much is he willing to spend with that luxury tax? Because they're going to be just throwing money at the league at that point.
Yep.
So, all right, before we wrap it up, let's hear it. So we got Reds, Dodgers in the one NL wild card, the other one Cubs, Padres.
Okay.
Let's hear it. Who do you think?
Cubs haven't been back in a while. I like the Cubs, and I'm gonna go. Honestly, I'm thinking it's gonna be the Reds. I just have a feeling that it's gonna be the Reds for some reason. I don't know. I'm not convinced by the Dodgers right now. I'm not.
It sounds like a hot take on paper. It's just not, though. I mean, I could totally see Cincinnati winning that series.
Yeah.
And again, it's one of those where it's like, I don't know which one I'd rather play. I'm going to say the Dodgers pull through.
Okay.
But in fairness to you, I honestly think I'd rather play the Dodgers, just as I said, based on this season's matchup. So I'm almost hoping the Dodgers win. And then I'm going to go exact opposite of you, because I think Padres pull it off just because they've been there. It's the same reason I like the Phils, honestly.
Yeah.
We've been here.
Machado.
Exactly. Like the roster is still really solid. I think they make one more run, albeit I think they get absolutely demolished by the Brewers, because I don't know what the heck is happening in Milwaukee right now, but they're on fire. So
unbelievable, the play right now.
Yeah. So, lots to look forward to. This is probably, in my opinion, the best sports time of the year. Playoff baseball, football, hockey's about to get started. Marshall's not a big hockey fan, but I am. So it's just one of those awesome times to be a sports fan, Marshall. And for the love of Broad Street, we're going to be here for all of it. So thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next week for some Red October baseball.
Let's go.